Alrighty, good afternoon and hello from Dallas, Texas. It's 12:30 p.m. here Central Time. Welcome to this week's episode of Know Before You Go. This show is not going to be what you'd call the sexiest show. This isn't going to be filled with photos of Ireland and video and everything because this is a necessary show. I get emails, texts, phone calls, messages on LinkedIn, private messages on Facebook, you name it. People stop me and ask me all the time for advice on travel tips and things to know about before you go to Ireland. So I decided I'm going to do this episode, 30 minutes. People can come back, review it, rewind, stop, and get what they want out of it. The weather, I'm looking at it here behind me, is very appropriate. It almost reminds me a little bit of Irish weather. I'm here in the studio with my producer, Sarah. Sarah, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
It's Sarah Macias here behind the control panel here. So you can ask a question live on YouTube or Facebook, and we'll try and monitor them and answer them as we go along. But hopefully this will help you, and so some tips and some insights to help you with your travel planning when you're going to Ireland. So let's get started. Let's dive right in. I'll put my reading glasses on, and hopefully this will help you. Right, we're going to start with airports. So the first thing is here, if you look at the map of Ireland, I've just dotted all of the different airports that are available in Ireland. Up in the very northwest, you have Donegal, but let's start with the international airports. If you're flying from the United States to Ireland, the two major airports that you're looking at are Shannon over on the west coast. They're located just west of Limerick, or you've got Dublin Airport. So these are the two international airports. And here's what you're going to do. And people ask me about this all the time, which is the best airport? Can I fly through Heathrow? You can fly through any country you want, but direct is always the best way to go if possible. And a direct route is available. So if you look at Aer Lingus, that's the Irish airline. And Aer Lingus will fly from Boston, New York, Miami, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Seattle and Washington, D.C. to Dublin and Shannon airports. Now, they won't be operating 12 months of the year to all of these airports, all these destinations. You need to check with Aer Lingus, and it's spelled AER, as you can see it there on the lovely plane. And that's the Irish airline. So you could check with them on their website and you'll see the availability and the times of years. Then the next one is one of my favorites, and I say favorite because I live in Dallas, and Dallas-Fort Worth is the hub for American Airlines. So they now have a direct flight from Dallas-Fort Worth Airport to Dublin. And it's available, it starts in April, so I'm actually getting on that flight in April. I'm heading over to do some research for a couple of weeks. But it goes from Dallas to Dublin. It's a lovely nighttime flight, and it's great for people in Texas and the contiguous states to not have to be stopping in Chicago and Philadelphia and all that. So if you can, try and get a direct flight. This direct one is operating until October the 23rd this year, which is super. It used to be the beginning of September. Something else that's really important. Ireland is actually the only country in Europe with US Customs and Border Protection pre-clearance facilities. These are located in Dublin and Shannon airports. Now, this is super. What is this and what does it mean? So it's available in Ireland, it's the only country in Europe, and it's available in Canada. You're flying to Ireland, and if you are flying out of Heathrow, this isn't available to you. If you're flying directly from Ireland to the United States, it's available to you. What does this mean? You go through security in Dublin Airport, you go through duty free, you do your shopping, you go for dinner, whatever you want to do, breakfast, and then there's a whole section, it's another 15 minutes walk away maybe in Dublin, and you go through US Customs and pre-clearing, you do your passports, your security. It just means after a long flight, when you arrive in the United States, you're now arriving like a domestic passenger. It's all done in Ireland and out of the way. So this is a great service, and I really like it. After a 9 or 10 hour flight, you just get off the plane, pick up your bags and go. So that's super. So that's something else you want to look at. And a little tidbit here, you might want to look at, for the frequent traveller, maybe look at Global Entry. I have a Global Entry card, which also is another expedited way of travelling. The next thing, let's talk about, you can hire a car, of course. You can have a driver. All my clients tend to have a driver. And yes, you can hire a car. It's virtually impossible to get around Ireland without a car. So if you are not going to use a car, you don't want to drive and you don't want to hire a driver, what are your other options? Public transport. The best method of public transport would be the train. So let's look at the trains in Ireland. So the website you would go to is irishrail.ie. Now, please don't worry about trying to take notes on the websites and that, because after this is over, the links will be embedded in the bottom section of this video so that you can access all these resources yourself. So you just go to irishrail.ie, and then if you go up onto the top, let's say timetables, on the very top in the green tab there, Sarah, you've got fares and tickets, timetables. Now on the left-hand side, you can see Intercity Map. When you click on the Intercity Map, now you can see the main arteries and the places that are accessible by the intercity trains. If we could just hold it on this page, even though it says Intercity Live Map, above it says Commuter Map. The Commuter Map then would be, as it's the term commuter tells you, would be for people who are going to work or who want to go into the smaller towns. So you could click on the Commuter Map and see what comes up. But at the moment, I think most people are looking at, I need to get from Dublin to Cork. I need to get from Dublin to Galway. I need to get from Dublin to Kerry. So maybe going to Tralee. And that's a great way. You can pre-book your ticket, pay for it. They'll reserve your seat. Your name will be digitized above the seat when you get on the train. It's a nice way to see the country. And then it's a little bit efficient if you don't want to have a car. So that's a great way. The other thing you could do is, maybe what about thinking about taking a week in Ireland with maybe Rail Tours Ireland? Rail Tours Ireland. This is new this year, and it's called the Emerald Pullman. And this is a private train. This would be an itinerary that somebody wants to do and book on their own. It's 8 days. You'd spend 3 nights in Killarney, 2 nights in Galway, and 2 nights in Belfast. And this is just a super way of, I don't want a driver, I don't want anything, I just want to book a trip, and I want to be able to take the train around Ireland. So this is a great resource for you to just play around with. Another question I get asked about all the time. Currency. Okay, so if we look at this map of Ireland, why am I showing this map of Ireland? As you can see, the 2 different shades of green. You're going to need 2 different types of currency if you're going to Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Northern Ireland are the pale green colours up there, those 6 counties. In those counties, Fermanagh, Tyrone, Londonderry, Antrim, Down and Armagh, you're going to need pounds sterling. So the British pound is the currency you're going to have while you're staying, shopping in those parts of Ireland. When you come down or across the border into the Republic of Ireland, and I say cross the border, please note there are no hard borders, thankfully, anymore. Those are gone long time ago. But when you travel into the Republic of Ireland, or if you're only in the Republic of Ireland, you're going to need euros. This is what they look like. So there's a couple of 20 euros, so the currency is a little different. So euros in the Republic of Ireland and pounds sterling in the north of Ireland. And I highly recommend that you bring a coin purse. I don't have as many coins here in the United States in our currency. So I have always got a little coin purse when I'm going to Ireland because, oh my gosh, we get lots of them. So there's, here we have a dollar bill. Here you've got, a coin for 2 euros. You've got a coin for 1 euro. I mean, there's 10 cent. So you get a lot of coins. So it's always good to have a little coin purse. You can get your currency, obviously, when you're here. I don't do that. When I get to Ireland, I just go to an ATM. I go to the Bank of Ireland or Allied Irish Banks or any of the ATMs around Ireland. I put in my own card and I get my currency while I'm there. The other thing to remember is please, please, please don't forget to call your bank or advise your credit cards before you go. You don't want to be stuck. It's happened to me a few times where I've forgotten 1 or 2 and it's declined or whatever. They flagged that you're out of the country. Most of them will be okay, but just in case, call them, just be sure. Or go online to your bank and do a travel advisory and let them know. Sticking with money, I want to talk about sales tax or VAT. What is this? So sales tax in Ireland is known as VAT, which is an abbreviation for value added tax. It is already included in the price you see on an item. Here in Dallas, when I buy a blouse or a shirt, You go to the store and they add 8.25% to your bill. So we always get ours added on later. In Ireland, it's already in the price, okay? So there's nothing added when you get to the register. When you're visiting from the United States, you're actually entitled to get a VAT refund on goods only. So not on your food or drink or anything like that, but on goods you can. And this can be anywhere from 17 to 23%, which is great. So new legislation was introduced that requires visitors to spend a minimum of €75 to get that back. So you buy a pair of socks for €5, you don't be filing a VAT return for that. But if you've 75 and up, you can, all of that can be done. And we just showed you that website there. We'll have a quick look at it again, Sarah, if you don't mind. So if you just go to www.shoptaxfree.com, this will help you. The card you get is you can see the Horizon tax-free card. When you go into some of the stores, you can present the card. Some stores are equipped to just take the card, process it there and then, and they'll take the tax off for you. Others and most, I'll be honest with you as I go around Ireland, most aren't equipped. So it's normally the bigger stores are equipped for that, but the smaller ones aren't. But you have to, when you produce it, they'll give you some paperwork, almost like a receipt. And when you get this receipt, what's going to happen is you're going to keep you keep the details of this. Now, this is really important to people when you do this, whether the shop processes it or whether you have to process it. You will only get your refund if you return this when you depart. So when you leave Dublin Airport or Shannon Airport, there is a kiosk, there's a booth set up for Shop Tax Free. You hand in your paperwork and then they process it, and then it can be anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. It's always been very efficient for me. You just suddenly see a refund on your credit card, whatever card number you fill in on the form. So this is a great little resource. So that's just something I wanted to tell you about. Travel insurance. Okay, we all know what happened in the last few years. Travel insurance is really important for people. Legally, I'm not allowed to talk about travel insurance. I'm not licensed to sell insurance, so I'm not going to tell you what you need and what you don't need. It is definitely worth looking into, and I do see, and I have seen clients who, a mother in the family got ill and they had to cancel, and when they cancelled, she had passed away, so they couldn't go. Somebody suddenly gets sick. You have a policy called cancel for any reason. That could be, I'm just not in the mood for going. That's the top end. But there are a plethora of policies out there. I can say, like, maybe if you go to Travelex, Travelex, they specialize in travel insurance, and you can go in and give them, you can type in your value of your trip, the dates, the age group, and they'll give you some quotes. So that's a great thing to look at. Again, you can go to any travel insurance company out there. That's one off the top of my head. So that's just something to look at, travel insurance. Okay, weather. Would you look outside here? I mean, I'm looking out here and I might as well be in parts of Ireland at certain times of the year. Just expect maybe 4 seasons in a day in Ireland. Seriously, you can need your umbrella. It could be raining. You could be walking through Trinity College Dublin, see, like this, and you see them all with their brollies. Pack the little fold-up ones with you. Obviously, don't be taking the big golf umbrellas, but those small little ones are really handy to stick in your suitcase. The best way to expect, and of course, last summer I went over, and the weather was gorgeous for the 6 weeks I was there. I think I got rain twice. So you could go over and get super weather and say, Rachel, you said there's going to be lots of rain. I just don't know what to expect. But Ireland has a temperate climate. What does that mean? It means that Ireland has mild, warm summers, and the winters are cool, but they're not freezing. Now, some people in Ireland might debate with me and say, actually, it's been very, very cold at the moment. But you're not talking about bitter ice, and it's not like Minnesota or northern Michigan or anything like that. But the best way to prepare yourself for packing and for clothes in Ireland is to make sure you have lots of layers. Lots of layers. So what I would do is I'd wear a blouse and a shirt or a t-shirt. I might wear a vest. In the United States, we call them a vest. We call them like the waistcoats or the little zipper sleeveless jackets. And then another jacket, a raincoat, a waterproof jacket. And then you'll find it's not raining, it's warm, and you can just take those off with you. Really comfortable shoes. So that's a great thing. A lot of people have asked me, are jeans okay in Ireland? Of course they are. Comfortable shoes and jeans are great. Now, it depends on what restaurants you're going into in certain places. I mean, use your own discretion. I mean, how do you dress when you go out? Do you want to look nice or not? You know, and I will say this about Irish people. Irish people like to dress. So when you see them in restaurants or in shops, we kind of like our fashion and we like to dress nicely. So they don't always go around in jeans and sneakers all the time. That's sort of a uniquely sort of American thing to do in daily life, which is great for walking and being comfortable and everything. So just think about it, okay? But the most important thing is packing for the temperature. Electricity. We're going to talk about electricity. The voltage in Ireland is 230 volts. So what you'll find is you cannot bring, I cannot stress this enough, you cannot bring a hairdryer, you cannot bring a curling iron, you cannot bring those to Ireland with you. If you have a travel adapter, it doesn't matter. Don't bring them. The currency, the voltage is much higher in Ireland than it is in the US. As a result, when you're staying in a hotel and you go into the bathroom and people are looking for their hairdryers, they'll say, Rachel, I couldn't find a hairdryer anywhere. Well, you won't find it in the bathroom. You will find it in the bedroom, and you'll find it in the drawer, in the dressing table, or in the wardrobe or the closet. But that's where hairdryers are to be found in all accommodations and hotels and guest houses in Ireland, never in the bathroom. But what about for all of your other things like your phones and your chargers? You do need to bring a travel adapter with you. And this is what the travel adapter looks like. This is the 3-prong plug. This travel adapter can be used in England and it can be used in Ireland, not continental Europe, just England and Ireland. So it's a 3-prong plug, and then you can see at the side, now this is an older one I have. The newer ones are a lot more updated than this because now we have, see, look at these. Now this is a new one that I like, and I just ordered this myself. So I don't work with them. I'm not recommending things that I'm endorsed by anybody. But this is the Epica travel adapter, and it charges 6 devices at the same time. I just ordered mine on Amazon, and I just needed a new one. As you can see, it's $22.99 or $28 there, I can't see. But anyway, it's what, $23. So super. So you can see all of the different ways of charging all your iPhones and everything. The other thing I could mention, which it isn't on here, but you know those Mophie packs for your phone? Batteries go very quickly in iPhones, as you know, or in most of our smartphones nowadays. So those are a great thing to have as well, those battery packs for your phone, and you can charge it at night and then bring it out with you. Moving on, talking about phones and phone plans. You need to pre-arrange your international plans before you leave. So for example, with AT&T, which is my provider, they do this international pass, but it works out about $10 a day. Not about, it's $10 a day. Go to the AT&T website or Verizon, whoever your provider is, and you can get a travel plan. If you're going for 10 days, that's $100. It's kind of expensive, if you don't mind me saying so. For me, what do? People ask me, well, because I go back and forth so much, I now have an iPhone, an Irish phone, so I switch that on when I'm over there. Phone plans in Ireland are so much cheaper in the United States. If you don't want to do the international plan and you don't have a phone while you're over there, what else do you do? Okay, my recommendation is you turn it on airplane mode. There's Wi-Fi everywhere in Ireland, so when you go into a restaurant or a hotel lobby, or you're staying in a hotel or wherever it is, you can access the Wi-Fi and do it there. But turn off all of your kind of, the refresh things in the background, because that's eating up your data. And of course, the data is what costs money, or the data. So make sure you do that. But I also, when my sons are with me, tell them put it on airplane mode, because really all you're using it for when you're out and about in Ireland is to be taking photos and video everywhere. So maybe do that, but watch your phone plans. That's where people can get stung, okay? We're going to talk about restaurants and taxis and tipping. I get asked about that all the time. Generally speaking, taxis don't take credit cards over there. Now, I'm talking about for American visitors going over there. If you jump into a taxi, you hail one in Dublin or Cork, and you get in the car, you're on your way somewhere, you hand them an American Express, they're not taking it. The processing fees are too high. They don't make any money. So cash is king for that, for a local taxi right now. Lots of caveats. If you get in a taxi at Dublin Airport or Shannon Airport, or the taxi rank, just double check, but 10 times out of 10, I would say, all of those taxis will take a credit card. They'll say, yeah, we're fine, we take credit cards, because they're used to, international guests arriving and taking them to their hotels. Failing that, there's an app called Free Now, which is an app I use. This is all over Europe, but this is the one I download. So it's Free Now, FREENOW is the taxi app. And you can find this in your app store. This works just like Uber. So you download this app, you have it, you load your credit card on there, and then you're in Dublin, you're in Belfast, you're in Galway, wherever it is you are, and you're in Killarney and you want a taxi, you can go on this app, pull up your, order your car, and it works just like Uber. It gets to you and you can pay that way. So that's just something to know for people who are, maybe looking at taxis and everything. Quite a few years back, I had a client who, when he came back from Ireland, he said the trip was fantastic, food was great. He said, but one thing, he said, the service was really bad in the restaurants. I said, in all of them? Which was really shocked, because you don't, sometimes people can have a bad experience anywhere, but to hear that they were bad in all of them. So I started drilling down, going, what do you mean it was really bad? And he said, I had to ask the staff for a bill in every single restaurant I went to. Aha. In Ireland, you will never be presented, rarely anyway, with a bill. It's just not done. It's not the etiquette, or it's not in the Irish culture to just be presenting you with the bill. We're so used to here, you go out for breakfast, you go for brunch, they say the bill is here for you when you're ready. We don't feel like we're being pushed out or anything, but it's just it's what's done here. So my client was just so used to that. He was waiting for somebody to present him with the bill, and he'd keep saying, oh, may I get the bill, please? So you need to ask for the bill. If you're eating and the person next to you is finished and the plates are all sitting there, the reason they're all sitting there is they won't clear plates until everybody's finished. Again, it's just, they don't want to pressurize anybody. It's just etiquette. Another thing, which is a security thing. When we give our credit cards here to the waiter, he takes it away, processes it, and gives it back to you. You will not see that in Ireland. They will process at the table every single time. If somebody takes your credit card away, that's your warning that something is wrong, okay? So for security reasons, it's been there for a long time. It's a great tradition. It's a great rule. It's a great security measure. That nobody's copying or photographing your credit card number. You give them the card, they bring the little machine to the table, and you do it there. So that's a great little thing. Tipping. Americans, we love to tip. We traditionally do 20% in the evenings for dinner, that kind of stuff. We give more if we really like people. They say in Ireland, you don't really tip a taxi driver. I still tip them. Sometimes you round them up to the nearest euro, or if it's €8.30, I might give him 10. If I like him, I give it to him. It's sort of at your discretion. Yes, the bag boys, €2 to €3 a bag for your hotel. I would say definitely I would do 15% tipping. People will argue with me. It's very individual for people. I because I live here and I see what people do in service, I don't mind tipping people if they're good. But yeah, I think it's nice to tip people in Ireland. Why not? They work hard too. I did receive a question on Facebook the other day. Somebody asked me about genealogy. Before you go to Ireland, do you recommend any genealogy services? There are so many out there, but I was very impressed with this when I was in Dublin a couple of years ago. I was in the National Library of Ireland, which, by the way, is a super resource. So the National Library of Ireland, if you go to their website, you can see here it shows the family history, and you can play on that page, family history, visit, learn, all of those tabs, and they give you recommendations. And then there's a PDF on their website with all of the genealogy services, people that they recommend and that you can contact and reach out to them as well. If you want to do some stuff before you go yourself, you can click on the census, the National Archives. So this is the National Archives census. You could click up to the top of the page where it says home, and then you can click on search census. Click on that, and then it'll ask you what year you're looking for. So you can see census years. You could click on where it says 1911. The little drop down, it takes you to 1901. You can put in the surname as last name. So you could put in, Murphy, which I'm sure there'll be no Murphys in Ireland. And this is super, and it gives you access to all the digitized records. So this is another great resource. And then I kind of want to finish on something where people always say to me, I want to go to the Ring of Kerry. Where's the Ring of Kerry? Where do I have to be? The Ring of Kerry, I just want to remind people, is a route. So if we look at this map of Ireland, it shows you down on the very, very southwest. I've kind of populated with all those little blue pins. And then if we look at that on a close-up of that peninsula there, the Iveragh Peninsula, you can see if you're in Killarney or Killorglin or Cahersiveen or any of these places, just by being in one of those places, you are on the Ring of Kerry. So I don't know if you can see this, but you're in Sneem, Waterville, Portmagee. It's 111 miles in total. The Ring of Kerry was designed to sort of bring tourists to Ireland a long time ago. And if you can see all of these beautiful photos that I'm going to show you now, you can see Portmagee. That's Portmagee. If you're in that village of Portmagee, you're on the Ring of Kerry. If you are in the Cap of Dunlow, look at that, isn't that gorgeous? This is on the Ring of Kerry. You can go to Muckross House and Gardens in Killarney. That's on the Ring of Kerry. And by doing all this, by going to these places, then this means that you are absolutely on the Ring of Kerry. There may be some topics I haven't covered or questions that people have would like to ask on resources and everything. One of them I would like to say, if you're the kind of person who wants to plan your own trip, do your own research, there's a website called Ireland.com. And Ireland.com is the website for the Irish Tourist Board. It's a very comprehensive site. You can maybe go on, like this is their magazine that they put out, you get the map. You can plan it, you can do trip planning, so castles, trains, all of that sort of stuff. So this is a great resource, Ireland.com, for those who want to plan their own trips. I design the type of trips for people where they say, Rachel, we want to go, we want you to show us where we should go, because I like to take people off the beaten path a little bit. I don't really want to do the road that's beaten down and travelled all the time, where you're kind of running into, you're sharing the road with tour buses all the time, although the roads are narrow in Ireland, so please be prepared for that. But I design and curate trips for people who want some different experiences and want to meet people who are, will show them around or, take them around galleries or whatever it is. So people come to me when they want me to take care of all of it for them. But again, just to emphasize, if you're the sort of person that wants to plan and do your own trip, this resource is great for you, Ireland.com, to help you with that. And of course, there's lots of videos and things on YouTube for things like that. But I think that's about all. This is another adapter. See all these adapters? Here's another one for you. So remember the 3-prong plug. If you've got questions after this, I will keep checking this. I'll keep checking the Facebook page, and I'll keep checking the YouTube page. In the comment sections, I'm very good at kind of going back. Sometimes it might be a day or two, but I do check them and I do respond to people. So if you have more questions or a topic you'd like me to cover, please feel free to do that and drop me a line. And if there's a topic you think you'd like me to talk about, we're planning a whole series of episodes on Ireland, on regions of Ireland, castle stays, different types of things, distilleries in Ireland. So heading out into the next 12, 18 months, there'll be more episodes coming up. But in the meantime, I just want to say thank you all for joining me. And from a kind of a grey and drizzly Dallas, it's goodbye from Sarah and goodbye from me. And thank you so much for tuning in.